Do you feel like recently books have been lacking in quality a little bit? And it's not on the outside. On the outside, books look great. Spread edges, special editions, everything looks gorgeous. But then on the inside, a lot of the stories are not well edited. They feel rushed and undeveloped. So books are a bit like very well decorated cakes with like a lot of toppings, and they look delicious, but once you taste them, actually they're undercooked. So I want to discuss this issue with you, and if you think that is an issue at all or not, I don't know, but for me it's a bit of an issue and I want to discuss why. So let's go. It looks like the publishing industry is doing well. Books seems to sell much more now than they used to, like before the pandemic. Like the pandemic was a big period for books. A lot of people picked up books, started reading. The bookshelves are full of new titles and books have never looked better. You know, let me show you. Look at this book. It's so pretty. I have not read it yet, but I just took it as an example how pretty the books look. And there's a lot more new special editions of classics, for example. Look at this edition of Emma. It's just so beautiful, right? Books look like these gorgeous objects that you want to have just because they look pretty, no? A lot of care is put into the way they look. Even though the way they look, it's a bit repetitive. Like, for example, the romantasy covers, a lot of them look the same, but they look pretty, you know? They look all these flowers and they are eye-catching. So there is a lot of care on the exterior because they want you to buy them. No, that's obvious. But the problem is that it's much easier to make pretty cover. Maybe not much easier, but it's a bit faster to make cover than to write a book. No, a book requires years of writing, rewriting, research, editing, and so on and so on. But nowadays, a lot of books are just pushed to print very quickly. Even maybe the author might want to work on them more, but the publishers are like, no, we have to catch the trend. So publishers are very in a hurry right now to produce more and more and more. It's not just an event that happens in publishing. Like right now they're comparing publishing to fast fashion, but it's not even just fast fashion. It's in a lot of businesses, people are trying to produce more quickly, to sell more, to have more. And we can narrow it down to greed. Like we can say everyone is super greedy. They want to just profit more. Partially it's true, but also it's like every industry is trying to survive. They're trying to catch the lighting. If they have a chance to make more sales, they will catch that chance. And that's because like profit is the king, you know, like if you can make more money, that seems to be the most important thing. We as readers, as people who appreciate art, maybe we would want to be different. We would want publishers to have not just the goal of making the most profit, but also to have the goal of making a good product, of selecting good stories, of making an impact, of delivering something of value. Like those other reasons of creating something have a bit faded in the background, especially in big companies. Big companies always follow those specific models of profits, and they always want to increase their profits. It's all about increasing profits until infinity. It's the world we live in. Everyone wants to increase their profit. They don't talk about sustainability so much as they talk about let's make more money. And sometimes it's just because they want to survive, because the world is difficult, because everyone wants to be able to pay their bills and live normal lives, like, you know, editors, writers, everyone. Some might really push it for better quality. Some might really push it for profit because they see the financial side of things. It's their reasoning of why they have chosen this model, of the model of quick publishing, pretty covers. I want to discuss that. I want to discuss if this model, making business with books, it's really necessary, it's really profitable, or is it dying? And I'll explain what I mean. So, by the way, I couldn't fix my background because the cat didn't want to move, so yeah, it's not going to be all that pretty, but it's not so important. So, publishers want to put out books that sell. That, let's say that is their main goal. And if those books are also good quality stories, that's probably makes them happy, but it's maybe not the most important thing for them. Maybe, I don't know, different publishing houses are different. But what they choose as a secure model of making money is, number one, make the books look good, which is fine, right? You have good looking books. A lot of women read, and women love aesthetics. They love pretty stuff. When you publish a lot of romantasy, you want them to look good. Women will like that. Then you want to be sure that books are recognizable, so you make them similar, because if they're similar, people know, oh, this romantasy look like the other romantasy, so it's the same style, I'll buy more of the same. Okay, that's number one. You make it look good, and you make it look consistent. It makes sense, right? Then number two is you're convinced that people's attention span is short. You're convinced that they couldn't wait like 3 years between books, because they'll move on to the next thing. They'll forget this. And so you want to push the book to come out sooner, or maybe you want to push it to come out sooner because you don't have anything else that generates such revenue, right? Maybe you want to have a fourth wing every year because you like to have so many book sales, but you don't have any other book performing as well as fourth wing. So you would push the fourth wing part 2, 3, 5, whatever, to come out earlier, right? And then you make a special edition of this book and another special edition of this book because it sells. And what is the result is you have these pretty covers, you have these pretty cakes that don't taste so well. But you don't care that they don't taste so well because it's good enough, let's say. Like if you put in a lot of sugar inside the cake, it's gonna taste sweet, I guess. Maybe even too sweet, but it's gonna be passable. People will still like it. They will still buy it. I just want to clarify that I don't mean that Fourth Wing is a bad book or anything like that. I just give it as example of successful book that generates a lot of sales and how this can be used as a model to try to sell other books. So it's nothing against Fourth Wing, okay? What I wanted to say is that when a specific genre or even just a trope gets popular, publishing is trying to maximize the profit of it by publishing more and more of the same and then publishing books very quickly just to catch the trend. And then you want to push this model to something new. For example, Alchemist right now is so heavily advertised here in my country. I don't know, I feel also maybe in other countries. Because I feel publishers invested a lot in this book. They thought this book has a lot of audience already built who expect this book. And if there's such a big audience who like it, then maybe others will like it too. Personally, I have no interest to read that book, at least right now. It doesn't interest me, okay? But I doubt that book is so good. I don't know why, but I doubt it. And do you know why I doubt it? Because I started to doubt publishing. Because it pushes books so heavily, so strongly, that even once I taste a cake that is not baked enough, no other cake you offer me, I will trust you, So I don't trust you about Alchemist because I've tried a few other cakes and I really felt like they didn't deliver. So I feel like the more cakes you push, the more you lose your trust as a publishing house. Because yes, people will buy these books. Yes, people might even say they like those books. Some of those books might be good. And I don't speak only about romantasy. It could be literary fiction. It could be fantasy. It could be anything. It could be thrillers. But maybe because romantasy is the most popular right now, the genre, or it seems like that. I feel like the more they repeat this model, the more they're going to start to lose their integrity. Like the difference between a published novel and a self-published novel is like with the self-published novel, you can never be sure if the quality is good. You're risking it. I mean, you still have the cover and the blurb and some feedback from readers, but still you're a bit cautious if it's going to be so good. I mean, if you have experience with indie, then you would know like the self-published authors can be really great. So you shouldn't be so afraid. But we used to have this perception that published work are pre-selected, that should be the best of the best, which is not anymore. It's not the best works. It's just the more trendy works. And it's not a new thing. Obviously, there were books like that always. but I feel like now it's so much more prominent. Like the advertising is so much more aggressive because it's like that everywhere. So it's also like that in publishing, and they just want to make more and more and more sales, and they just push more and more and more books. I feel like this model is about to crash at some point. If you want to create something big, you have to find the next big thing. No, like not everyone can be as successful as Harry Potter. Those are just rare events. But if you find those successful examples, then you build a loyal fan base. Like, for example, Mistborn now has a lot of loyal fans who are very loyal to Brandon. And so he has his little world, So he is established name. So whatever he publishes, people have interest towards it, right? If publishing puts more effort into finding stories that can be memorable, that they will be more profitable in the long term. Because the issue with attention spam is that, yes, people will move to the next thing if they are not invested enough. Like if you pump out low quality books that people forget after 2 days, no, they were not going to wait for number 2 or number 3 because they will forget about it. But if it's a book that is strong and really stands out and really captures their attention, people will wait because you will build a real fan base. And when you build a fan base, that's the most important thing, right? That's what Brandon has done for his books. The Hunger Games, I don't know, it doesn't have such a strong legacy, but it had a very strong moment in time and people would wait because they were interested, okay? I know that with time interest drops, but I don't think 2 years, 3 years are such a long time to wait for a book. I really don't think, especially if it's worth it. Like I'm ready to wait 2-3 years for a book if I feel it's a good book. So I wish they would invest more time in finding good books, but also in crafting good books. Because crafting a good book doesn't only take a good author, but it takes a good editor too. Because if you have good editors who would work with authors, especially young authors, new authors, and help them find their voice, make the story better. If you work with those authors, not just fix their grammar, but really help them fix the story and assist them, then you can craft something great. You as a publisher could find and assist and craft good books. You can at least have them without typos. I mean, they're books full of typos. When you have new readers coming from TikTok or whatever, maybe they come from Wattpad, and their level of they are ready to read whatever crap comes because they're used to this kind of light, like quick reads with typos. They enjoy them, they don't mind them. But you as a publisher should level up, because why would I move from Wattpad to buy your book if it's the same level? I don't know how much Alchemized has been improved. You tell me. Has been. I mean, I'm sure it's been changed because of copyright issues, but there's so much like right now fan fiction that has been put into books, right? I have no problem with that. But if you're going to take the fan fiction and make it a book, you have to improve it. You have to craft it. Otherwise, I will go and read it in an original way. I can go to Wattpad, AO3, whatever, and read those stories for free. Why would they give you money for it if you don't craft them, if you don't improve them? Because a lot of the authors who write fanfics have great ideas, but they don't have the editorial help to make them better, right? You have to give them that help, and not just to make a nice cover and a big publicity, but really do your job well. And I know it's hard. I know people have to eat and they will need their profit. But if you invest in crafting memorable stories, they will bring you profit long term, because then people create fandoms, right? Are fandoms dead? Just tell me, maybe I'm out of touch with reality. But one of the reasons fandoms are so strong, because if you wait 2 years or 3 years between a book, then you start to build the fandom. Then you start to build the fan art, the fan fiction, the fan theories, and then it's building and building, and there's big bubble. And then when the book comes out, it's an event, like people have waited for it. But nobody's gonna wait for something that was not impressive from the beginning, Nobody's gonna wait for the conclusion of a novel they don't care about because there are 10,000 similar to it. So obviously there is fast, series coming fast because they're not memorable. I think the idea of let us push the book sooner makes sense for books that are forgettable, but we have too many forgettable books. We have too many books. Recently there are so many books. Everyone and their cat writes book. My cat doesn't want to write a book because he's too lazy. But you know what I mean. We have all those AI slopes. We have everyone wanting to write their story right now because they want to. We have so many books and we have so little at the same time. We don't have anything, that's too much. We rarely have a very strong book that everyone talks about. They're because I see the books that are coming, that people talk about a book for 3 months and they move on. And you can say, they have a short attention span. I don't think that the book deserves to be talked about more than 3 months. It's okay. I don't mind it. I think they should be easy reads. They should be book for fun. But I really want publishing to try to craft their books better. At least 10% of the books. You can't craft all the books equally. But pick the ones that are the best stories. Not that they have the most following or the most trendy ones. Pick the one that are the best stories, that have a heart, that have something that is better and more unique. I don't want to say that all books have to be some kind of masterpiece of literature. I don't mean that. I think just books need to be better crafted because I see a lot of stories with good potential just being undercooked, and it's just a bit frustrating. I feel this book needed a few more months of work. This book needed maybe a year more of work because the dialogue is over the place. There are still good books. There are good books, of course, and even the books with the typos can be enjoyable. But yeah, I don't think self-published authors can afford sometimes to make the book as good as they wish, but publishing should. What do you think? Do you think publishing should try harder, or do you think that they're just trying to survive and doing the best that they can? I feel just the ratio between fast fashion, fast books, junk food, and healthy food, very well cooked and prepared food books. I mean, imagine a bookstore is a restaurant and they offer junk food and they offer desserts and they offer these heavy meals with a lot of good ingredients, and you want everything to be tasty and you want to be able to eat different things, right? And I feel it's mostly junk food and desserts, and the good stuff is missing. And maybe there are more well-crafted books in the literary realm because they more, I don't know. It's just a pity that some stories always will remain uncooked, that they're always going to remain less than they could be. And I feel especially the fantasy romance genre, which I am interested in and I like as an idea, suffers from that. None of those books are given time to flourish, and then the more of those bad books, they're not bad because they're bad ideas or the genre is bad, those uncooked books come out, the more the genre suffers because everybody feels this is low quality. And why would it be low quality? Because it doesn't have the time, it doesn't have the care. It's almost it's enough if you have the pretty cover, it's enough if you have the hot dude, you don't need to put more into it, just put the tropes are enough. Don't women deserve better? Don't the romance genre deserve better? Don't we deserve a more complex story? I want them to give more time to authors. I want them at least, maybe not all of them, but they can see which ones want that time, which ones are interested in working more on their stories. If you find an author that wants to make the story more layered, give them the time. That's what my rant is about. Because it shouldn't be all about profit. I understand the desire of profit. I work for money, you work for money, people in the creative industry work for money. You know, everybody does it. At least in the arts, you need to have some heart in what you're doing. You need to put some care into it. I don't say people don't do it. I'm sure there are a lot of people who put a lot of care. I'm sure some of them are doing their best. I'm sure some of them are working overtime. But maybe they're just trapped in this whole economy of, maybe we're all trapped in it. And this is the book industry is just another victim of this craziness we are living in this world that is all about profits and money and fast food and fast fashion and obsessions and craze and scrolling and whatever. We all a bit insane. And maybe books are just a product of their time. Maybe the time we live in, it's so fast that we can't even slow down to read a slower book. Maybe we don't have the attention span for it. I don't know. But for me, still, some older books feel better crafted. So yeah, that's my rant. I know I went for too long. I just wanted to rant about it because I feel bad for the books that are born into this world in this time and period. Poor books have no time to grow and they're just pushed on the market. What book do you think was published way too soon and you think could have been developed more? And what book do you think recently have been published and you think it's really well crafted, very well edited? What is the example of a good book? Good example. Give me a good example of books you think got the proper attention and books who didn't. And let me know what you think about this subject. And I'm sorry about my lighting. It went a little bit weird because we can't disturb the cat, you know. He has important business to do. Sleeping. Okay, that's it for now. Thank you for watching. And if you like the video, you can subscribe and see you again next time. Bye bye.